So I'm not really sure where my love of nature came from, because when it came to nature with my family, the extent of what we would do to have a nature walk was to walk around the neighborhood on the sidewalk. So, but I was fortunate enough when I was 25 that I was sent to Zurich, Switzerland on an assignment. And that assignment actually turned into 16 years. And so Switzerland is the most beautiful place to enjoy nature. So I used to go mountain biking in the woods, and you could go from one trail from where I lived, and you could go for all the way to the other side of the country, all the way on trails. Absolutely beautiful. So hiking in those woods, and there'd be people playing the alpine horn where you'd hear that, in the distance. And so I just loved to explore in nature. And much like the other gentleman, see the beauty that's there in nature. So, and it didn't only have to be in Switzerland. Now I was hungry for nature. So I would be looking everywhere. We went on many fabulous trips. And one fabulous trip that I went on was to the Grand Canyon. Beautiful places to explore in the Grand Canyon. And so, I love to hike. And one needs to understand that nature also needs to be reckoned with. So this was at the heat of the summer that I was taking a walk down to the Grand Canyon. And you need to prepare. You need to have the right shoes. This was a rugged path that was going down. You needed to have enough water because it was really hot and you could easily get heat stroke or be dehydrated. And you needed to understand the elements that you were dealing with. And I felt like I was a seasoned nature lover, right? I mean, I lived in Switzerland, for God's sake, so I was Miss Nature. So we were ready. I was fit. And it's about a 10-mile walk down to the bottom and then to come back up. So what we didn't know was if you don't reserve ahead of time, you can't stay at the bottom. So if you only planned a 10-mile hike, you might end up actually having to do a 20-mile hike. And down is much easier than the way up, just in case anybody wasn't sure, and especially after you've been down at the bottom where it's 145 degrees. And so we were looking at these other people who were heading on this pretty serious hike. And they're taking their kids, and that's great. And they have 1 bottle of water per person in the family for this 10 or 20-mile hike that they were doing. And we thought, oh, this is not going to be good for them. But we were good. We've got camelbacks. We were going, and we were hiking down. And it was okay that we found out we couldn't stay at the bottom because we decided to stay at that. There's a mid-station that you can stay on the way back up, and so we'd circle back around and stay there. And, I was so one with nature that I didn't feel like I needed to bring anything to cover me from the nature, right? So when we were going to be staying overnight in that mid-station, it was perfectly okay to enjoy the stars above and to just feel the breeze, whatever breeze there might be at that point, and just, no need for a tent, no need for anything to cover us, just to really enjoy the nature. And so as we got down to the bottom, we heard stories about that family who really got hit with heat stroke, and we really felt awful for them. And we heard that they came up to the mid-station, and as they were there, the youngest child got bitten by a scorpion. So this is nature, right? So this was a little shocking to me too, because I really wasn't used to that kind of nature. So it started to working stories in my head because we didn't have a tent, we didn't have anything to cover us. And then we had this really great conversation with one of the rangers who was telling us about all the, there's these black beetles that live in the trees there that if they bit you, you would die, right? Immediate poison to your system. I don't know, why is it that the rangers feel that they need to tell you everything that is, dangerous in the area, so they can just bump up the scariness. And then when we were down at the bottom and it's 145 degrees, we were in this little lake for a little bit, or a little stream of what water was there to kind of cool off. But I don't know, I was feeling a little delirious, and I thought I heard, Bobby, Cindy. But no, we didn't see them. They were still lost. So for any of you that are old enough to know the Brady Bunch reference. But so we got to the mid-station, and everybody else had a tent. And really, the stories in my head were like, oh, why did I make this decision? What was I thinking? You know I wanted to be one with nature, but maybe that's a little too close. And so I couldn't get any sleep because the minute I would like duck out to fall asleep, I'd wake up and my flashlight, I'd check the perimeter because I was afraid that a scorpion was gonna crawl on top of you. Because it's really, they get on your hands, and when you go to bat them off, that's when they bite you. And you know how it is when you've got something in your head, then all of a sudden you think you see shadows. Is that one there? Is that one? And you also, you hear things. You hear the rustling, right? So I'm laying there, and of course I'll jolt up because I'll hear something rustling, and I'll know that scorpion's coming for me. And so, you hear it, you feel it, you see it, no sleep going on there at all. So it was a great adventure, and I really still love to be in nature. But the truth is, I now believe and understand that I love to be in nature, but I don't necessarily need to be one with nature.
Penny, everybody. Great job.